Hi, thank you for joining me today. Today's practice will focus on the hips. We'll take about 35-40 minutes or so to really focus on warming up, loosening, softening the hips a little bit. Hips tend to be where we store our emotions, so hopefully after the practice you'll feel a little bit lighter. Begin in a comfortable seat on your mat. As you take a moment to start to work your way into a place of stillness, and allow the eyes to begin to close. Allow the air to begin to enter and exit through nostrils. Allow the muscles in face to soften. Begin to send the belly outward, expanding on the inhale. Allow the belly to retreat back to spine on your exhales. Take deep breaths, allowing belly to rise on the inhale, breathing in through nose. And belly to retreat to spine on the exhales, air releasing slowly through the nose. And try to keep a nice tall spine. Find about 5 breaths, taking nice equal parted breath. Making sure the inhales match the length of your exhales. If it helps you to focus, feel free to bring a count to the breath. Maybe counting in to 4, out to 4, taking about 3 more. Next time you find your inhale, just open the eyes, lift the gaze, and then keep both sit bones rooted into the ground or mat here. On your next inhale, you'll send both palms up, gazing up to the palms and thumbs, and exhale, send palms down in front of your chest. Press into the palms, roll the shoulders up and back to open the chest. Allow the hands to relax over the knees, and send on your inhale the collarbones wide, lengthening the spine. On your exhale, you'll dip the left shoulder down, right shoulder up. You might gaze up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, right shoulder dips down and left shoulder comes up. Softly twisting. Inhale on the length. Exhale on the twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 1 more. As you inhale to come back up, just find your way into a seated position. Allowing here your body to just come all the way down into the back for a moment, allowing the back to come to the ground, sending the legs up into the chest or knees up into the chest and wrapping the hands around the shins. So you're just taking a few soft rocks side to side to massage the low back. And then we'll soften in the hips or warm the hips a little bit. So you can begin by just raising the feet up to the ceiling, keeping the hands connected to the ground, and then allowing just any movement that's comfortable with the legs here. So you might make a few circles. It might feel silly to you or childlike. Just make any movements that you like. Nice circles, you can cross the legs, so you can bend the knees a little bit. We're just really warming up those joints in the hip. Warming up the fluid, the synovial fluid that surrounds the joint. And then once you're complete, you'll send those knees back into the chest here. And take a few rocks and rolls as you kind of roll forwards and backwards on the mat until you come up. See if when you come up you can land in a boat position, meaning you're bringing the belly into the spine, the low back is nice and firm. You can use the hands to support the legs. You can always straighten if you like. Staying bent is just fine. You're making sure that the low back is not rounding at all here. It stays nice and firm. Body's in a V-like shape. On your exhale, cross the legs, plant the hands, and you can kind of hop or find your way back to a plank position. Be sure to plant the palms nice and firmly into the mat, middle fingers face forwards. You're starting to press the heels away from the head here, keeping the back of neck nice and long. Gaze is just down towards the ground or mat. So from here on your next exhale, just send the hips up and away towards downward facing dog. Your legs are probably not quite warm yet, so just take a few kind of pedals, slightly bending the right knee, straightening the left leg, and slowly switching. So as you're straightening each leg, you're trying to send the breath into the back of your leg or into that hamstring there. Inhale as you switch, exhale to straighten the legs, send that air to the backs of legs as you continue a few times. You're still trying to work into a nice long spine, but just softly warming up the legs at the same time. So next time you exhale, you'll bend both knees, look ahead, step, walk, or hop towards the top of your mat. Come up halfway on your inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, find a rise up to your standing, root through the heels, lengthen, look up. Exhale, send the palms to the heart. Bend the knees softly, send the arms up on inhale. Exhale, forward fold, straighten the legs, relax the head. Inhale, halfway up, look ahead. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to a plank position, shift the weight forward, shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, high to low, or chaturanga, keeping the elbows nice and close to the ribs as you come down and up. After you inhale, expanding the chest, you'll exhale back to downward facing dog. Again, you can kind of walk or pedal a little bit if legs aren't warm. You're trying to keep a lot of length in the spine. If that means you need to keep a little bend to the knees, you'll do so. Point is never to get the heels to touch the ground, but is to always keep the spine nice and long, keeping the arms sort of parallel to the spine. Take 2 or 3 more breaths, nice and full through the nose. You're drawing the belly or navel in and upwards towards the spine, lifting the tailbone. On the exhale, bend the knees, look ahead, step or walk towards the top of the mat. Halfway up on the inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, find your way to standing. And exhale, send the palms to heart. Take one more, bit faster. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bend from the hips to fold. Come halfway up on the inhale. Exhale, plant your hands. Step or walk back to your plank position. Exhale, travel high to low. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. Exhale, hips away from hands. Plant the palms firmly, press evenly through both palms. Send the hips a little further away from hands. Take 2 more breaths. On the exhale, bend the knees and look ahead. Step or walk back to the top of the mat. Come up halfway as you inhale. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, nice and slow. And exhale, send palms and gaze to heart. Send the hands back up on inhale. Exhale, back to forward fold. Halfway up, flattening the back, looking ahead. Exhale, plant the hands. This time, step your left foot back towards the end of the mat and slowly soften down to that left knee. You'll keep the front right knee over the ankle. You want to find a stretch in the front left hip. So you might walk that right foot out a little further, making sure the knee stays over the ankle. Trying to relax the glutes a little bit here and keep the hands on the front leg or knee, or slowly send them up to the ceiling. If you are reaching, you'll find a lot of length in the hands, but make sure the shoulders relax a little bit. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Exhale, release both palms to frame that front right foot. Keep the left hand to the ground. Inhale, right arm skyward. If you'd like, you can curl the back toes under and lift that left knee, or feel free to keep it down. exhale, both hands return back to the mat. Curl the back toes under. If they're not, you'll send the right leg when you're ready up to the ceiling on inhale. So you're going to make again a few circles with that right leg or hip. Send that right knee, keeping the right knee bent, send the right leg skyward and open the right hip over the left here. Try not to let your left shoulder dip down. Plant the hands firmly. And then swing that right foot through to the top of the mat. Drop your left heel and come up to warrior one. Right knee over the ankle. Now if you see your arms in front of you here, you'll try to draw them back and behind, drawing those shoulder blades into the spine. Open once to your warrior two, so you can send the palms on exhale to the heart. You'll open that back foot so it's parallel to the short side of your mat or space. Find a nice long stance here. You want to bring that thigh as close to parallel to the ground as you can, as is comfortable as possible. Make sure you find a nice active reach with both arms, gazing over the front right fingers. Your gaze is also called your drishti. Exhale into side angle, right elbow joins right thigh or so. You'll keep rooting through the left foot, send the left arm skyward. You're reaching it overhead or towards the front wall or front of your space. Your palm is flipped down. As you inhale, send the arms back to a T, warrior two. On your exhale, plant both hands towards the top of your mat. And then just as before, send that right leg back up into the ceiling, making a few circles with that leg or hip. So once more, you're going to swing that right foot through, plant it, soften down to the left knee. You can untuck the back toes or keep them curled. Send the arms back up into that high lunge. So if you stayed here with your hands before, if that's most comfortable for you, stay there. Otherwise, try this time to raise the hands up towards the ceiling, relaxing the shoulders. Again, softening the glutes a little. On your exhale, release both hands to the ground or mat. This time you're going to just bring both hands over towards the left side of your mat or space and just heel swing that right foot out a little bit. So it can be just a few inches, it can be several inches, however much is comfortable for your hip here. So you're finding an opening in the hip, probably feel some resistance in that hip. So wherever you're most comfortable, you'll stay. You can feel free to keep your hands planted here, keeping your upper body supported. If you can walk your leg out real far and you're totally comfortable with hands lifted, feel free to come down to both forearms. And just try to keep the kind of head and neck relaxed any place you choose. You're trying to relax the hips as much as possible, allowing that kind of front left hip to sink down, or your hips to sink forward just a little bit. You're really filling on the inhale, breathing in, sending the air into the backs of lungs. On the exhale, just relaxing the hips. Take a few long breaths. Next time you inhale, just if you're down on the ground and the forearms, lift back up to the hands and slowly heel toe that leg or foot back in towards the center. Plant the palms firmly once more on each side of the front foot. Curl the back toes under. Send the right leg one more time up to the ceiling. Feel free to hold it there to make circles, to open the hip. Take just a moment to find some movement for that right leg. And then just release both legs to the ground so you're in downward facing dog. On your inhale, shift the weight forward to your plank position. Exhale, travel high to low. Inhale, expand the chest, gaze up if possible. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. On your next exhale, bend the knees and look ahead. Step or hop to the top of mat. Come halfway up on inhale. Exhale on the fold. Inhale, roll your way slowly up to standing. Exhale, send palms to heart. Inhale, find gaze up, lifting both arms. Exhale as you bend to fold forwards. Come halfway up, look ahead. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to the plank again. Shift the shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, high to low. Inhale, expanding the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. So this time you'll lift that left leg on inhale. You can again do anything that feels good to warm that left hip or leg, making circles. Just finding some movement. And then you'll swing that left foot through to the top of mat, soften down to the right knee. Again, you can keep the toes curl under or flatten the foot. If you don't feel a stretch in the front of your hip here, right hip, you'll send that left foot forwards, making sure the knee still stays over the ankle. Relaxing the glutes a little bit, keeping the hands on the leg, maybe the hips, maybe lifted, but relaxing shoulders. Give you long breaths. Making sure on the inhale your belly is rising, filling with air. Exhale, you'll release both hands here, keeping the right palm planted under right shoulder. Inhale, left arm skyward. Again, feel free to curl the toes, back toes under and lift that leg or knee, or keep it down. Here you want to make sure that your knee is hugging into the chest, your inner thigh hugs into chest. And on the exhale, both palms plant. You'll curl the back toes under. If they're not, send that left leg up towards the ceiling. And then again, you'll keep a nice bend to that left leg or knee. Open the left hip over the right. Don't let that right shoulder dip down. Press evenly through both palms. Swing that left foot through and plant it on the top of your mat. Drop your right heel. Keep the front knee over the ankles. You come up to warrior one. A few long breaths. Make sure you're pressing through the front big toes and grounding through the outer edge of that back foot. As best you can, that still allows those hips to face forwards. As you open to warrior two, you'll open that back foot so it's parallel to the short side of your mat or space. Arms will come open to a T. Again, that front leg is as parallel as possible to the ground, as comfortable as is possible for you. Nice active reach through both arms. Ground through the outer edge of that back foot. Gaze or drishti is over left hand. Left middle finger. On your exhale, pull the belly into the spine. Release the left elbow towards left thigh. Send that right arm skyward. If it's a little challenging for your balance to look up, you can just keep the gaze ahead or at the ground. Again, the palm is flipped down as arms reached overhead. You're grounding through back foot. On your inhale, you'll come back up to warrior two. And you'll exhale, bringing both hands towards the top of the ground or mat. So from here, you'll just shift your body back to a downward dog, sending that left leg skyward and making just a few circles once more. And then send that left leg back to the top of the mat, soften down to the right knee. Toes can curl under your back or soften the foot. So top of foot is to the ground or mat. Again, if you kept your hands at the leg last time, pull the belly into the spine, send the arms skyward. You're filling from the belly or bottom bones all the way to the upper chest. Take 3 more breaths. Soften the glutes. And on the exhale, releasing both palms to the ground, you'll send the hands over to the right side of your left leg and then just start to heel toe that left foot out. Again, it can be just a tiny small amount, or you can really heel toe it out a little farther. You're planting the palms under the shoulders, or again, if you're nice and comfortable, sending the forearms or elbows down to the ground. So you also notice the difference between both sides. One hip is usually a little bit more open than the other. So maybe you couldn't walk this leg out as far as the other. Maybe you could. Again, you're trying to relax the head and neck, allowing the hips to just kind of softly travel down towards the ground, or even a little bit forwards. Finding a really nice stretch in the front right hip and inside of groin. Relaxing the jaw, muscles, and face. Take a few long breaths. As you inhale next, you'll start to lift and on the elbows back up to the hands, heel toe that foot back in, frame with that left foot, both hands, curl the back toes under, send one more time that left leg skyward, find a few movements, circles with the left leg, and then release to a downward facing dog. Shift the weight forward on the inhale to your plank position, exhale, travel high to low. Inhale, find that lengthened spine, squeezing inner thighs together, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath. On your exhale, just soften the knees down to the ground or mat, and find your way over to a comfortable seat. So this time, as you come into your seat, you're going to draw the soles of the feet together, and then just place the hands inside of the feet, maybe thumbs inside those are touching the soles of your foot, and you'll start to pull the heels as close as you can, or as comfortably as you can, as close as possible into the groin. So you're also going to open the feet like a book, using your hands to open the feet. You'll see the knees come closer to the ground when you do that. That's already opening the hip. For some of you, that might be enough. Some of you might need a little bit more intensity. So as you keep pulling the feet into the groin, lift nice and tall through the crown or top of head. And exhale, begin to fold a little bit. So take it nice and slow. Again, some of you might be able to fold quite far, some not so much. Just fold until you feel that place of the most resistance, meaning a little bit of discomfort but no pain. So you'll also notice that if you're really trying to pull those feet actively into the groin, that your shoulders may be a little tense, so you're trying to use your hands or forearms to pull the feet in, but relaxing the shoulders here. Again, never about how far you can fold, it's about maintaining that openness in the hips. Take a few breaths, filling on the inhale, softening somewhere in the body on the exhale. Make sure the jaw stays relaxed. Take 2 more breaths. As you slowly come back up on the inhale, just bring both of the knees up and together, coming back into a comfortable kind of seat, but allowing the soles of the feet to come to the ground and knees up to the ceiling. Just bring the hands behind you, pointing the fingers backwards or behind, and just soften the knees, widen the feet so you can soften the knees just kind of side to side like windshield wipers. Allowing the hips a bit of movement. Just 1 or 2 more times. Try not to feel any sense of rush. And then as you come back up into your seat, you'll allow the sit bones to just stay rooted into the ground or mat, pulling that skin away from the sit bones, sending the legs out to a really nice length here. So instead of a really active stretch where you're really trying to keep those feet to the ceiling to lengthen the hamstrings and legs underneath, we're just going to relax the kneecaps, relax the toes, relax the hands. slowly allow the body to begin to fold forwards a little bit. Again, you're just relaxing, taking your time, trying not to feel rushed. You can relax the head or neck, but try not to allow too much compression or too much lowering of the chin to the chest. You're again making sure nothing is really active. You're just slowly working your way, allowing the upper body to soften towards the lower body. Just continuing to listen to your body, allowing as much fold as is comfortable. Feel free to close the eyes if you like. Or even just to bring a small smile to your face. As you inhale, you'll press back up towards a seated position and just scoot the body towards the top of the mat, or a little bit towards the top, allowing the soles of feet again to come towards each other and the knees to soften out nice and wide. So we're going to come onto the back here. If this is uncomfortable for your knees in any way, you can always place a blanket or pillow underneath the knees to support them so there's not as much pressure. You can slowly work your way back down into a reclining position. Also, if that's too much, you can always place a blanket or pillow underneath the back. So you're keeping the soles of feet together, relaxing the hips as wide as is possible. If you also have a block or something of this sort, a yoga block or pillow or blanket, you can also place it underneath the low back, finding almost a lift there. So just relaxing the upper body towards the ground, the legs nice and wide, allowing the hips to relax. If you're comfortable here and could add a little bit more resistance to the legs, you can just bring the hands on the tops of the thighs and very softly press down a little bit. Just kind of finding a nice little bit of extra stretch or opening in the hips, and just relaxing the upper body to the mat. Noticing the belly rise on the inhale. And just softly come back to the spine on exhale. If it feels nice, you might also just place one palm on the belly, one palm on the chest. Taking just a moment to quietly reflect on your practice, just maybe observing, remembering whatever brought you to your mat today. And then observing how the body feels right now, noticing if there are any areas of tension left in the body. Noticing the pace of the breath, the temperature of the breath or body. And then in the next inhale, just slowly draw the knees back up and towards each other. Just be nice and slow. You can draw the knees into the chest, wrap the hands around the shins or wherever they reach. Again, if you kind of rock side to side to massage the low back. And then many people's favorite pose called Happy Baby will also complete with, not only because it makes you feel good as it massages the kidneys or adrenal glands. So to do that, we'll allow the knees to come just separating apart, coming only as wide as is comfortable. So for some people who are nice and flexible, have nice open hips, they can wrap the hands all the way from the outsides around the feet. I cannot comfortably do that, so I keep my hands kind of wrapped around my shins, or maybe at the ankles. So you're pulling the knees down towards the ground and out as wide as is comfortable. Again, you can wrap the hands from the outsides around the feet. I cannot, so find a comfortable place that works for you to kind of grip and pull the knees downwards and outwards. Again, you do want to find a place of resistance a little bit. You can remain still or find a few rocks side to side, which massages those kidneys, adrenal glands, releasing the hormones to make you feel good. happy baby or Ananda Balasana. You can feel free to close the eyes as well. You can continue rocking or be still. Whenever you feel complete, you'll just draw the knees back together, sending the feet skyward. And just as in the beginning, releasing the hands towards the ground. Finding any movement with the legs, knees, hips, ankles, toes, anything that allows those hips to just relax. Making sure that you feel no tension or as little tension as is possible. Once you do feel complete, you'll just slowly soften the feet down to the ground or mat. You can walk the feet out and just find a nice comfortable position for you to relax. You can allow the feet to separate as wide as possible in the width of your mat. If it felt nice for you to keep those soles of feet together and the knees wide, you can do that. And make sure that the chest is lifted, so you might pick one shoulder up at a time, kind of tuck it underneath so you can kind of prop the chest out, starting to relax all the muscles in body, softening the muscles in face. Allowing the eyes to close. As you take each of your next few breaths, try to allow the body to just feel a little bit heavier. Relaxing everything from the ankles, toes, all the way up the legs, the back, the shoulder blades, the neck, jaw, the back of your head into the ground or mat. Again, if possible, you might just keep the tiniest smile on the face, just slightly turning up the corners of your mouth. And taking the next few moments to just feel as much peace as is possible. You might allow the belly to rise on inhale, breathing in a sense of peace. Exhaling, you'll slowly let the air release through the nostrils. On the inhale, bringing in that sense of peace. Exhale, feeling free to let go of anything not needed in body. Take a few breaths that way on your own, breathing in a sense of peace. Exhaling to release anything not needed. If you're really feeling a nice deep sense of relaxation, you might pause and just continue to relax a little bit longer on your own. Otherwise, you'll just take another 5 breaths or so, breathing in, lengthening the inhales. And as you exhale, lengthening the exhale so that deepens the breath a little bit. And if nice and relaxed, you can pause the video and relax longer. Coming back to complete when you're ready. Otherwise, take about 3 more breaths, deepening the breath, lengthening the inhales, lengthening the exhales. As you're slowly ready, And to just move the fingers or toes a little bit, or slowly start to move the body. You may just bring the arms overhead, finding a nice full body stretch. And taking just as much time as you need to either roll over to the right side of body for a moment, or just allow the body to kind of relax. Continuing to breathe at an even pace. When you feel ready, slowly pressing with both hands up to a seated position. Trying to keep the eyes closed if that's possible. So as you come back up to that comfortable seat, feel free to sit just the same as you did before, or just slightly different. Just really allowing a nice solid base, hips and sit bones grounded into the mat. Spine is nice and tall, hands just relaxed in the lap. Take just a moment to quietly acknowledge your practice. When you're ready, open both palms into the heart, allowing the thumbs to just graze or touch the chest, softly bowing the head to the hands, quietly acknowledging the time that you made for yourself today. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Thank you.